for not saying that, for not wanting to throw away Cheyenne Bryant. Like, and I'm going to keep saying what I said, which is, it is fucked up that she lied. She also was great on my podcast. Now someone's here saying, but you threw Kamala away. How are you comparing a vice president that supports and continues to get behind genocide and Zionism with a lady who is a life coach? How? And someone said, take a social media break. Here's the thing. I don't need a social media break. Y'all need a social media break.
So she came back in not one, but two videos for somebody telling people they need a social media break. She came back in two separate videos to make a point and to make it political. And each time between her and Dr. Umar, they made it about themselves while admittedly, knowingly calling her a liar, even Marc Lamont. So she was receiving backlash because she chose to be the spokesperson for someone that she interviewed that in her book is classified as, I had a good old time with her. And to the colleges that are handing out these honorary degrees, some of them are simply handing them out because these people are making donations to the school. Some of them are not. But I look at it like, if we're going to start handing out honorary degrees, then we might as well not even charge for school at this point. At one point, Cheyenne Bryant started off as this person.
Hi, I'm Cheyenne Bryant, a spiritual life coach. I hold credentials in the field of psychology. My purpose is to assist individuals and serve them so that they can get in contact with their emotions and begin their process of healing. I look forward to planting positive seeds in all individuals I come in contact with.
She ended up being this person on stage.
So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.
Why are you all so obsessed about Cheyenne Bryant? She was on my podcast and she was brilliant. The need to, if y'all went this hard against like Kamala Harris for supporting a genocide, then like, what would that would matter to me? For some reason, she felt like she needed to lie.
She brought up this video she brought up Kamala Harris before the other video, the first video I showed you with her arguing her Kamala Harris viewpoint. And this is the video before that one where you brought up Kamala Harris first, where you wanted to make it more political than about Cheyenne Bryant. And I feel like the only reason why that you are reacting like this is because your career as an actress is over. I think you are still hurt because of what happened to you on a certain show. And ever since then, you have been trying to throw the Black community under the bus. It shows in your hate and your vitriol for that community because you have never, ever spoken up against any brown-skinned woman, long as I've ever heard you open up your big trap and diagnose yourself. So you put down Jasmine Crockett, but you uplift a Cheyenne Bryant. Jasmine Crockett, who's out here putting her life on the line, fighting for the Black community, and you've never tried to join hand in hand with her. But I will show the viewers some other things about why you always contradict yourself and why you have fully devolved yourself into your own masculinity and your hatred for the Black community, even though you are a Black woman yourself, unfortunately.
About credentials. I don't know why. I think part of the reason is because we live in a world where we act like credentials is what determines somebody's effectiveness across the board. And in some respects, it is absolutely necessary. I just don't care.
Then why even talk about it? You've been on twice. So you are wanting to make this very much about you, or you just can't really handle the heat that's coming on your head. So stay out of the fight.
I don't care.
People, in your opinion, think that Trump was better for us than Biden?
I ain't figured it out. I don't know.
I hear black folks say, like, oh, because Trump gave us money, Trump gave us checks.
Oh, now let me tell you. Now he was good. Now listen, I'm gonna give Trump some props. Right here. The only time you'll ever hear from me. He is a master at propaganda. So people don't know that he was fighting. So when the stimulus checks came out, he was fighting to make sure that his actual signature was on the checks. Would not really, people probably, they could have had their money earlier, but Trump was fighting to make sure that his name was on that check so people would be perceiving that the money came from him when it didn't. That was an act of Congress, number one. Same thing with the food boxes in the midst of COVID. He had to make sure it was a letter and all the food boxes from him. Like he didn't went into his own garden and picked this stuff for them. And he takes advantage of what people don't know, which is they don't understand how government functions.
And she gave you a bit of information and you turned on her and are now coming at her with all these crazy points about who she is and who she isn't, making light of her, the fact that she saying that she lost her job and she's very much still a part of the community and has a law degree amongst other things accomplished. And I could tell by you sitting up there with Jasmine that you didn't give a hoot about her or what she was saying to you. Yet you didn't address that on even any of your pages or your TikTok page or the information that she was giving you.
Whether you have a doctorate or not, if we're using feminine as an insult, if we're using gentle as an insult, I would be concerned for the kind of counseling that's happening. Now, that's just me. So that wouldn't be who I would go to for my relationship counseling or my relationship expertise. People have a right to do what they want. But if you don't have the degrees or the licensing and you have this problematic stuff, then it starts to raise more questions for people. So all of this to say, more questions are going to be raised as this stuff resurfaces as an insult. I would be concerned for the kind of...
Marc Lamont, so this is what you want to hear, right? This is what you want to hear.
Like this. Do not love me like that. Literally and figuratively. Love me like this.
Man,
you got to love me up close.
Man, Doc on demon time.
Call demon time. See, this is what this dark do. This is what the dark do.
Something that's happening. Now, that's just me. So that wouldn't be who I would go to for my relationship counseling or my relationship expertise. People have a right to do what they want. But if you don't have the degrees or the licensing and you have this problematic stuff, then it starts to raise more questions for people. So all of this to say, more questions are going to be raised as this stuff resurfaces. I'm fascinated, though, to know why it's resurfacing. I mean, I get that people want clicks and people want attention, but I'm wondering if somebody has an axe to grind. I'm wondering if someone just really is pissed off and is just pumping stuff out there. Because there's no reason for an old clip to pop up now other than the fact that it's lucrative, only because it's lucrative. People are starting to come out. People are starting to say things. People are starting to offer their own takes on things. I hope sincerely that this dies down. I think that if you've publicly declared something that's not true, people...
She lied about who she was to be more lucrative too, also, Mark, to make more money. So while you speaking on what somebody did that may have, they're doing it for attention, for money, what she's doing and she's saying by saying she's something that she's not without the credentials is a way of her trying to elevate herself so that she can make more money. But you went really nice on your show. A lot of people in your comments were eating you up as well as me because we could not understand why were you going so easy on her. And it's only because it's privilege. It's just pretty much it's privilege.
So crazy. My last video was just about why it's so important to ask people about their credentialing. 3 quick points. The first point is that why would she lie, right? Honestly, it's because if you call yourself a doctor of any kind, you therefore have access to spaces, places and people you otherwise would not have access to because of your level of training. And so she leaned in on this fake doctor title in order to access those things without the hard work associated with it. Which brings me to number 2, which is self-gain. If you're a doctor, you typically care about serving others more than self-service. So to do all of this under the deceit of lies and deception and delusion was a huge red flag.
And remember, she said she was doing this for God and not for the people. And it's supposed to be for the people, because that is who your general audience and your work is addressed to. Baby, God don't need your counseling because he's already been through the rough waters and the rough tide. It is the people that are depending on you, like you are depending on their pockets and their money and their benefits. So to say that should further let people like Marc Lamont Hill, Amanda Seales, and Umar know that she is out here faking it to make it to get to the bag. And then another thing, y'all keep telling black women to hold black women accountable. I have to keep saying this, as well as replaying a couple of my videos that I've already replayed to make it make sense. When we hold somebody accountable, it's a problem. So you know what, black women, let's not even hold each other accountable anymore because they don't want it unless it's just not the right woman. If she doesn't look like me or a brown skinned girl or a darker skinned girl, I guess that's what they're waiting on. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not. Because it's you have your picks, your chooses, and your favoritism about who you want us to hold accountable. If it's your perfect Becky, or your perfect liking, your perfect preference, this has nothing to do with how she looks. It has everything to do with her definitely using her sexuality to get the attention and as well as distract the men that she knows are not paying attention to when she is saying something that doesn't make sense and a real doctor or people can catch and confront her on it. Because she hasn't, like I say, she hasn't done any women's shows. She went on the one lady's station and got confronted and she really didn't like it, the journalist lady. But she's not going to go on any reputable black woman's show to where we can catch her up in a lie. Amanda, you don't count because you don't count. She hasn't been on any black women's shows that will confront her, hold her to light, and hold her accountable. And so that is why they are holding her accountable, because the men haven't. There's only been a few that have. And it's the ones that we least likely will even think would do it. Or even would be the ones that we would want to lean to look to get adequate information and direction from pertaining to her. So it is what it is. We see how it works. Using what you got to get what you want really works in this world. And when you're somebody's preference, I see how they let things slide. And it's unfortunate. And it's why I'm going to pick and choose who I want to hold accountable from this day forward, because they are not being serious about when they want women to hold each other accountable. And when we do, they all are jumping on and off of a certain preference ride. If it's this person, you can't confront her and you're jealous of her because she looks like this. And it's so high school to talk like that, because that means you don't have any more to say other than that is the best you can do when it comes to people's mental and emotional. So Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Last but not least, Black people within the healthcare space and the mental health space have dealt with so much systemic racism, and that has impacted access. So when people found someone they thought they could align themselves with, only to find out she was a liar, further erodes the trust that we're trying to build.
A doctor psychologist for 17 years. You keep saying she said she was a life coach. She didn't say that, Mark. If you go back and look at her video, she didn't say it at all. She said that in the very beginning when she first came out. Now she said this.
So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.
She was doing it as a flex. And she was doing it on a show where she knows she could gain more of the male gaze, more attention, more of a following, and then more of pricing her prices very high to where she can make more money. Even she said it.
Let's get into it. So Amanda Seales decided to get her ass on her live yesterday and basically say that Cheyenne Bryant was brilliant when she came on her show. She doesn't understand what all of the vitriol is about, and that we basically, gave Maya Angelou, we called Maya Angelou a doctor, and she didn't have a real doctorate degree. So what's the big deal with calling Cheyenne Bryant a doctor? And she basically tried to make it seem as if that she understands that doctorates are important in certain fields, but it seems as if Cheyenne Bryant hasn't caused any harm. And that actually shows that, Amanda, you're not as smart as you think you are. And that's what really irritates me about you. You have convinced so many people that you're so intelligent that they actually think that you're smart. And every time you open your mouth, you actually show that you lack a lot of critical thinking skills, and that you say shit because you need to get a check. Because at the end of the day, it's one or two things. Either you are really smart and this is just a game you're playing to cash a check because you ain't getting no acting work, or you're really not as smart as you try to portray. And you literally made a statement on here as you wish that people were as mad at Kamala Harris as they are with Cheyenne Bryant. And it's like you have this thing for Kamala Harris because you literally just can't think outside of yourself, and you need something that gives you a talking point on, and it's a way to be a contrarian and get attention. So let's break it down. Maya Angelou literally got her honorary doctorate degrees, which she has multiple, because of the work that she did, because she was involved in the civil rights movement and was a civil rights leader, because she worked on presidential campaigns, because her works have been studied in the literary sense. Her works have been studied in college and high schools. She is actually someone who's had a framework of things that have been analyzed by literature experts. She's received governmental awards. Was a Pulitzer Prize nominee, a Tony Award nominee. She received the Presidential Medal of...
And she wasn't trying to elf with people's minds. She wasn't trying to tell Black people to not exercise their voter rights and not vote, Amanda. She also spoke up for the Black community, which is what you don't do.
Freedom. I mean, what are we talking about? How are you comparing the two? She was the first Black woman depicted on a quarter. And it wasn't because her work was fake. She was able to back up her literature works. This woman has over 50 honorary degrees. I'm going to post it in right here. So you're going to tell me that this list can equal to Cheyenne Bryant's list? Make it make sense. When Cheyenne Bryant's honorary degree was from Harvest Christian, the same school that just gave Chris Brown one. The unaccredited religious organization that has zero accreditation, that's basically a school that you can get a tax deduction for donating there. That's where she got her degree from. So you literally twisted your mouth to put them in the same category when this woman got her friggin' honorary degree from this fake ass fucking school. And Maya Angelou has more than 50 honorary degrees based on all of her work. Maya Angelou did the work for us to call her Dr. Angelou. Even though it was honorary degrees, she's got the years of work to back it up. This chick has not one honorary doctorate from a actual school, a real school. Dr. Maya Angelou's Smith College, Mount Holyoke, and Mills College, all actual real schools. You just wanted to get your likes up and get your views up for a check. You do this every few months. You come up with some bullshit just to get a fucking check because your ass ain't getting no acting jobs. And you know that you've pretty much squandered your whole acting career. So you got to get on here and do some bullshit to get some clicks and views to get that YouTube check. You're ridiculous. And I really, really wish people would stop listening to your ass.
And sometimes with people like Amanda Seales and the other ones that like to turn on the Black community and see the Black community suffer, it's only because when they lose everything, it's the same goes with somebody that once had money and they lose everything because of their own foolish mentality and their own foolish acts and their ignorance, that they want to see the rest of the community go down with them. That's what they want to see at the end of the day. They want us to suffer with them. Even though sometimes people still was telling Amanda Seales that certain things you can do, and Black women people will still support you. But she opted to be an op and a fool at the same time. She opted to get on live TikTok channels and on her YouTube and just tell people literally that vote don't matter and it's not important. We already know what the bigger picture is. Jasmine Crockett tried to explain it to you, and then you like to play dumb when you get called out and say, "Oh, it's because of my my disability that I have that I sometimes speak out of my mouth and I don't know what I'm saying sometimes." Well, then you're the one that needs to take the break from social media, dear, because this is not equipped for you if you can't handle it. And just like this lady said, like I just got through saying a few minutes ago, these people are only getting these honorary degrees from these colleges. Some of them are not even accredited because a lot of these HBCUs and these other schools are not handing out degrees like that. The only reason why a place like that, where she went and where Chris Brown went, and where the first photos of those group of people I just showed you, Trick Daddy and all of them, is because they donated. Hold on.
Pulls out a bikini instead of a diploma, the conversation is over. You know what's funny to me? The second people start asking for proof, degrees, credentials, certifications, suddenly the timeline turned into Bikini Bottom University. Now it's boat pictures, belly piercings, body shots, skin tight dresses, and why y'all so mean? Ma'am, all of this was supposed to be about whether or not you were qualified enough to give people life advice. Y'all see the men? They fold in like lawn chairs at a family reunion. Because see, some people will believe anything if the messenger got on lip gloss and a cute smile. That's why the scammers stay employed. See, I don't even know what a Yana Van Zant's belly button looks like. Oprah ain't posting thirst traps every time somebody got a question. Professionals usually let their work speak for itself. But see,
hell, even Beyonce not doing it. Its body is tea. Go ahead.
Sometimes when people can't win arguments, they try to distract you with the aesthetics. Don't look at the missing credentials. Look at my swimsuit. Girl, please. I want y'all to watch. Give it a few months. Everybody that loves her now gonna be calling her everything but the child of God once they realize that the fantasy that they created in their minds doesn't match reality. Some of y'all don't want truth. Y'all want pretty eyes with a ring light.
hijacking this conversation and also changing the trajectory of this conversation and reducing the conversation to a conversation of hate. I don't understand where this whole thing of people that are demanding accountability is hating on Cheyenne Bryant because of her looks, when the questioning of her integrity came into play because she decided to stay on the podcast that she is not a licensed therapist, and she has been cosplaying as a therapist for years. Now, her not being a licensed therapist wasn't the concern. It was the reason as to why she stated she wasn't a licensed therapist. So people that are licensed therapists was like, pump your brakes. You are doing more harm than good because you are spreading harmful misinformation. And that's exactly why Dr. Raquel Martin took time out of her day to make a video and explain in detail, and you guys still found a way, just because that lady is brown skinned, still found a way in changing the narrative to her and other therapists and other women that are demanding accountability to hating on a liar, a scammer, and a grifter. I don't know how you guys do it, but you guys do it all the time, and it is such a shame. But let me tell you something about Cheyenne Bryant. She's been doing this for years, and she's a puppeteer, and she knows exactly what she's doing. That's exactly why when it was stacked against her, the odds were stacked against her, and she saw that, okay, people were closing in on her, she reposted this on her story because she knew that for the weak-minded, she can succeed in changing the trajectory of the conversation, and you guys truly fell for it.
And to the last post that she just posted about that people be having a certain look, I want to know, what is the look? Let me go back and pause it.
Against her, the odds were stacked against her, and she saw that, okay, people were closing in on her. She reposted this on her story.
Yeah, what does that mean? Why aren't the men and Amanda Seales and who else? Umar and Lamont and Paul Pierce and her fans, why aren't they addressing that? The ones hating on her all have a look. Just saying. Colorism is alive and well. Is it? But this is a colorist word, colorist wording. Because it was the men first that put you out here, that basically identified you as a fraud long before the women decided to go ahead and hold you accountable. Because like I say in quotation, that's what everybody wants to see done. That's what the men say that we don't do. And it's crazy how somebody that doesn't have a degree can be such a manipulator that they know how to use their reverse psychology very well. Very well. Just saying.
That for the weak-minded, she can succeed in changing the trajectory of the conversation, and you guys truly fell for it. You guys truly fell for it. You see, the thing is that y'all don't really care. You guys don't care about the Black community. You don't care about mental health, because if you did, this is a very big subject. But because of the color of her skin, and because she's such a pretty lady, you guys are going to let her get away with doing things that are harmful. She should have access to her degree. She should have access to her doctorate. And what the public is saying, listen, you are not a licensed therapist. Show us your PhD. If you want us to refer to you as Dr. Bryant, not the trademark, that's a whole different conversation. But if you want us to refer to you, a person, as Dr. Bryant, just show us your PhD that you worked so hard for. And it's just so unfortunate. And I want you guys to know, when you guys do this, it is very disrespectful to dark-skinned women, very disrespectful to brown-skinned women, very disrespectful to educated women, especially the women that are in this field, and they are telling you why what she said is incorrect and harmful. You guys have reduced their narrative, and you guys have made them look like haters because y'all can't see beyond beauty. Y'all don't have critical thinking skills. It's a disgrace, honestly.
And they can't even tell when somebody, if you can't tell when somebody's taking advantage of you, then it's no wonder a lot of people out here losing the way they are. How can you? So some of the men are out here leading with their money and letting someone tell them that they're a doctor and they can help them when they can't. Well, we already know too many men ain't gonna really go to therapy. So it's the fact that somebody can use all their worldly goods to distract you, and you not even have the power over your own discernment, or over your own cognizance, or over your own well-being and your thinking. That's what gets me. So, in ending this video, this is what the Black community will, I don't want to say never. This is what we have to get it together. And for the ones that choose to be dumb like this and play dumb and act like a thing is not a thing, we need to leave them by the wayside and push them out of the circle. Because the Black community got to get it together. We got to get it together. We out here literally being attacked. So much so that our voter rights are literally being taken away. And then you have somebody faking like they are something that they're not. And that's the last thing we need to be dealing with when we have somebody that is thinking it's funny to play something that they are not. If you are a spiritual life coach, then be that. But don't lie. Don't send your fake representative like we say about these men. Don't send your fake representative just to get something and then be found out later, because every time it never fails. What's in the dark will come to light. What's in the dark will definitely come to light. It is nothing that you can do about that. So if you choose to be fake, then it would just you'll ruin yourself by your own doing, by your own hand. And the only reason why people will be tuning in is because of you selling basically your sexuality and bending to the knee of men just to make a point. We saw you disrespect a man named Teray on the show. I don't have that video, and I didn't want to really post it because she did nothing but disrespect him, and the show should have immediately apologized to him and the show, because anywhere else that would have been insubordination. Anywhere else. But she'll get up here and tell you that you're supposed to be ladylike and beautiful and soft for your man. Meanwhile, she's letting you know that as a man, she will call you soft and attack your character as a father, like she did Teray. So a real doctor would have presented themselves better than that, with high esteem, with self-control, with better communicating skills. They would have never ever attacked somebody the way that she did, and kept doing it. Did not stop. Didn't even respect the host enough to stop. She didn't even respect the lady that came up. I guess she's the producer. She didn't even stop for her. So that further lets me know that she is no way, shape, or form in a position to be a therapist to anybody. And I hope that it doesn't get to a place where somebody winds up being damaged by this. I really hope not. I hope that we have spoken enough to where somebody that really needs the help goes to somebody that is genuinely professionally certified. Because the one thing we don't want to see is that somebody went to her and because it wasn't enough and it did not help them, something happened. That is what we are speaking about. That is our concern, not what the hell you look like. Everybody else is getting in on the conversation just so they can bring up personal agendas while still, and she ought to look at it like they brought you up in conversation while still calling you a liar and not taking your side at the same time. So you still lost because they're not defending you. They're not defending you, and they don't care to defend you. And I remember I wrote on his post, I wrote on Marc Lamont's post that, Mark, you all are the same people that people like me encounter at work. Someone comes to you all about a matter that could be with a certain coworker, and you play dumb like you didn't see or hear the problem due to favoritism or privilege. If this is your belief, please stop speaking for the Black community. This is also for Amanda Seales. She was homophobic, meaning Cheyenne Bryant, in her language towards Teray, a co-worker, and had no self-control. She was disrespectful to the show and the host, as well as the audience, and owed him and the viewers an immediate apology. Anywhere else, that would have been insubordination. All I can say is don't ask women to hold each other accountable again when we tried. This is the same lady who said to get in a tub naked to test a man. And that in itself can promote SA or unwanted pregnancies. Now, my comment probably got shadow blocked or people saw it and just kind of went around it. But it is what it is, and I said what I said because it's very true. Don't get out here speaking for the community if you're going to play dumb in one area. And then when it's time to get for real, now you want to get serious. I do not want nobody that's flip-flopping and that's a chameleon. I want somebody that when they step in this game, or representing the community because they are Black and they're representing for the community that is Black, that they're not going to flip-flop. This is who they are and how it is. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. All I can say is continue to exercise your voter rights. I will never deter you from voting. Please vote. Vote at your local elections also. It's something, just gotta start small and then go big. Vote in your local election as well as state elections. Any election that comes up in your state, vote. Because it's your right. It's what your great-grands and your families fought for all these years. And then to have somebody tell you that it's not worth it and that it doesn't mean anything is like saying that you aren't worth it and that you don't mean anything. Because if you don't vote and the wrong person gets in the house like they are right now, you will continue to lose everything. And I don't want to associate with people like that. So if you don't vote, then please don't come around me. Because it's your right. People fought for that for you. People that you were related to that you might not even know about fought for that for you. But you rather stay at home like it doesn't matter and like it won't affect you. But you the same ones that will complain. The same ones. And on that note, y'all, Stay strong. Stay off around people that go against what would affect you in your life. Y'all have a good night.